Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of A Charge to Keep, the official podcast of Rio Hondo Prep Football. This is our second edition of the podcast. I've been recording a lot of different episodes, stockpiling them, getting ready for the summer. But this is the second official episode. It will air as kind of a preview of what is to come here in the upcoming weeks. And we're bringing back on the podcast Coach Mark Carson. For those watching on YouTube, you can tell we got a nice new background, courtesy of Chaz Hanna, a former Rio Hondo Prep player from the great Hanna family. A lot of Hanna Hondo heritage, if I must say so myself. Thank you so much, Chaz. And Coach Carson's going to come on here. I do have a nice new intro, pretty fresh, if I might add, might say so myself, but it's courtesy of Dr. Chris Albaugh, who's a professional voice-over guy, PA guy specifically. I want Coach Carson to hear this and get his reaction. So let's bring him on the podcast first. We're going to talk about the summer, the upcoming schedule, just any changes in the program going on, just kind of the state of the union, if you will, here in the middle of the summer. And we got to be less than 50 days away from the season opener against the Omani Lions. Oh, man, I can't wait. Let's check in with Coach Carson and get his reaction on our new intro music and a lot of other things. Everything Rio Hondo Prep football related. This is the official place to find all of it. Let's bring on Coach. All right, he's back for the Midsummer update of the Rio Hondo Prep football team. The head coach of Rio Hondo Prep, Coach Mark Carson. What's going on, Mark?
Hey, nothing much, Matt. Enjoying our summer. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. I have been working hard behind the scenes to get this thing rolling. We got a new logo, a new background. We have a new intro to the podcast that I want you to hear and get your reaction from. I've been stockpiling episodes. A lot of big announcements today on the podcast.
That's great. Looking forward to it. Hey, you're just, doing what you do, Matt, taking it to the next level.
While you guys are in this, are you guys in your down period yet? Where you're 2 weeks off or whatever?
We have one more week, and then we give them their break. We're actually giving them almost 3 weeks off. And then they'll still be on campus weightlifting and running PRPs, which are player run practices. And that'll be Monday through Friday. And then we start August 8th.
Okay. The voluntary workouts.
Yeah.
As voluntary workouts. Oh, I get you. I know what you mean. Yeah. PLP. I like that. That's cool. Hey, they're out here working. So Mark, before we get to some other topics, and I want the fans to hear the new intro of the Charge to Keep podcast. It's from our good friend, Dr. Albaugh, who is a PA voice of the Cal State Fullerton Titans. He did my Get Home Safe podcast, but I really like what he did with this one here. So
and the Quakes too, right? Isn't he
currently the Quakes as well. He's worked for the Raiders. He's been the Clippers, the Dodgers. So he's a pro, and he's a big Rio Hondo Prep football sports fan, man. We got to get him some merchandise.
Yeah, let's hear it. Oh yeah, we'll take care of him. Shoot. Our new gear's coming in this week. So
okay. All right.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Well, here we go, guys, for the new intro to the Charge to Keep podcast that you'll hear before each and every episode.
Rio Hondo Prep Football is one of the best kept secrets in all of Southern California. As one of the smallest enrollments year in and year out, the Cares have won 14 CIF championships and have been one of the most successful programs throughout their history. Welcome to A Charge to Keep, the official podcast of Rio Hondo Prep Football. And now, bringing you the latest news and content from his alma mater, a CIF champion in 2001. From the class of 2003, here's your host, Matt Hersema.
All right. What do you think, Coach?
Love it, man. Love it.
Who's ready to strap on a helmet right now? Let's go.
Let's go. And you tied in the same song from your Get Home Safe podcast. So if people know, there's a little connection there like that.
My identity, right? No, I got you. I was going to do something else. I'm like, nah, let's
you got the banjo lead in or whatever that is. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, Chris Albaugh. We worked together at Cal State Fullerton. Mark, you worked with him. Just a special guy, huge sports fan.
Yeah, great guy. Always has great takes on sports, and was fun to work with. A pro, but still fun at the same time.
And Mark, the official logo here of the Charge to Keep podcast, courtesy of Chaz Hanna, nice RHP alum from a great Hanna football family. I mean, I asked him to do something. He threw this together real quick. I can't say thank you enough for that.
Hey, another pro, man. Chaz does that logo behind me. He redid our logo, our crest logo, to make it a little more from the crest to a little more of a logo to put on the helmet, and he refined it. And we love all the work Chaz does. When we our new football shirts come out, he did those, and yeah, he does a great job. Great guy to have at our beck and call to do what he needs to do, make our stuff look good. So
no doubt. Yeah, it's from the top.
He helped with Ryan McCullough's his announcements, the backgrounds for social media, Instagram, Twitter. He did those for Ryan and such.
Oh wow. Well, speaking of Ryan, Mark, about an hour ago, I finished recording a episode with Mr. Ryan McCullough, your senior leader, an outstanding young man. I got to tell you, for all the high praise you've given to him, it wasn't enough because it was my first interaction with him. What an outstanding young man. And it was a great opportunity to chat with him for about 45 minutes.
You sound like all the college coaches who come through. You know, they say the same thing. You know, they're always just blown away. First by his size, you know, they'll look at him and go, wow, you really are, you know, 6'3". And sometimes a little more colorful language when they see him. But but then talking to him, he's just so easy to talk to. And such a smart guy, which at Real Honda you would expect that. But such a smart guy and fun to talk to, easy to talk to. So always makes a great impression. If only we could get UCLA down here to talk to him, they'd find that out. But I don't know if we mentioned that or not, but I think, yeah. Anyway.
You got high expectations for UCLA to make good decisions. I don't know, Mark, but we'll see. No, he talked about his recruiting experience. He talked about his family and the Rio experience. What I got out of him, Mark, we hear it from guys like you and alumni and everything. It was really cool to hear from a current player basically selling the Rio Hondo Prep football program and why he chose to be here and not go somewhere else, and kind of being that voice to those 8th graders and maybe other high school guys out there who are considering Rio Hondo Prep.
Yeah, he's obviously, he has a great platform as being, you know, our team leader first and foremost, but with his recognition and already in football and his recruiting, all that has obviously led to a higher profile than your average high school football player. And so he's handled that with class, dignity, and done a great job. And he's a great representation of our program. And so couldn't be happier for him that it's all working out for him. And he's got so many great options lying ahead. And the ambassador stuff for our program, we don't even tell him to do that. He just does it. And but it's great for our program. And yeah, our enrollment, our freshman class is going to be our biggest class in Rio history, including 24 boys and 40 kids total. And so I think his influence, it couldn't have hurt. It only helped that. And so looking forward to great things ahead.
Yeah, he will be a featured episode here in a couple of weeks on the Charge to Keep podcast. I have a ton of other great podcasts lined up, already recorded, Mark. We're ready to go. I like being prepared. Yeah, let's get it going. No reason to wait. Just to echo your point about enrollment, you know, I recently had Dr. Marcia Johnson on the Get Home Safe podcast, and I asked her about enrollment and you know, are there challenges? Can we see the school grow? She was encouraging to hear that she's supportive of the school growing, and that you know, I think she's the right person there at the top of the organization, the school that is behind some of your ideas and helping the school grow.
Yeah, we're never going to be huge, but to get really where we want to be, not just in football, but across the sports spectrum, and we knew we had to grow. And you know, we're not going to get huge, but if we can get to, you know, 7th through 12th grade, right around 200 students, that'd be great. And then we'll be able to hire new people, pay the bills, and most importantly, put out a great product on the court, on the field, whatever sport we're playing, with enough kids who really want to play and get after it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I look forward to, being able to scrimmage a full 11 on 11, JV and varsity. That'd be awesome.
24 boys in one class is pretty awesome. Let's try to finish with those 24 boys or even more in that class.
And it's a great group too. And let me tell you, we're probably gonna have around 10 of them on the field for varsity games. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. And they're good enough, but we need them, but they're good enough to do it. So that's
well. And just to compare, we talked about Ryan McCullough as a senior. As far as senior boys playing football, there's not a ton. It's kind of an odd year that way. So you got 24 freshmen. How many senior football players are there on this year's team?
So there'll be 5 guys seniors who play, about 5 or 6 juniors. So right around 10 upperclassmen who are
young.
Varsity. Yeah, we're gonna be a young
you guys.
team. Yeah. So
okay.
Baptism by fire for those young guys, but it's only going to make them better for the future. And
with a team like that, last year you were so senior led, right? And 2 years before that, or 2019, such a senior led team. Is it tough, even though you got the senior of all seniors, Ryan McCullough? Does it change your coaching approach at all, knowing you're dealing with a lot of underclassmen? Do you have to kind of raise their expectations, or do you gotta have to come down to meet them? How does it change for you, your coaching style, when you have such younger guys on a team?
That's a great question. We have to first, we can't assume they know anything. With last year's seniors, we had a seniors, 4 of our 5 starting O-linemen and our tight end were seniors, for instance. Our entire quarterback and tailback, both receivers were seniors. And on defense, 9 of 11 starters were seniors. And a lot of them were going both ways, obviously, but there wasn't a lot of explaining to do. They got it. And so it was more just refining, keeping them fresh and healthy. Where these guys, we got to get down, thank goodness for our junior high program, which preps them, does a great job preparing them. So they have some background, but we got to really build on that and get them prepared to play. And so a lot more, less refining and more building, more foundational stuff, so to speak, when it comes to just technique, skills, and then our systems on offense, defense, and special teams. But most importantly is, I think, the confidence factor. And that's something that we got to get them, we got to turn them into dogs. And like, hey, even though you're freshmen, you're going to be out there. They got to be able to play with confidence on Friday nights, under the lights. At a varsity level. So that's probably figuring out the way to do that properly, get them to that level of confidence where they can go out and play how we need them to play.
And Mark, the past couple of years, I haven't had to be very critical of you as the media guy that I am now, but when those young guys are going to make mistakes, and they will make mistakes, I can't get mad at that. I'm going to have to call out the coaching staff. I mean, I'm going to have to hold you guys accountable right now. You got to make those young guys better.
It's on us. As long as if we go 9-0, it'll be the reverse. So
yeah, exactly. No, that was all the kids. They did it all.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Which how it should be, and we get that. Well, we're looking forward to it, and they're all about it. They're in the weight room, working hard, no complaining. They love it, and it's a special group that the Real Hondo Prep family is going to love to watch. Not only this year as young pups, but man, when they get junior, senior year, it's going to be really exciting.
So the cupboard is not bare, as they say. It's loaded and ready to go.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, I got to tell you, Mark, I've been so busy, and I'm so excited really about this new podcast. And I want to give you a preview of some of the things I've been doing. I'm not just going to bring you on and talk to you every week. When the season starts, I will. But in a way to get people really fired up for the season, I had a few ideas to launch this podcast. And I'm going to tell you, since I've done them already, I'm going to announce these, and even a few that I haven't. It's like pressure on me to make sure this gets done. So here's a few things I've already recorded. I talked to you about Ryan McCullough already as a player preview, and his thing. And we're going to have him back on, I think, when he makes his college announcement, if he's up for it. So that's something we may do down the road. But I recorded with 1985 graduate RHP football historian Paul Clark. And you know what we did, Mark? For an hour and a half, we talked about all the RHP greats. We tried to talk about the best defensive players and the best running backs in RHP history. We just those two categories, and you couldn't be on both lists. And we each came up with 5 of our all-time favorite defenders and running backs. So 20 guys. And we must have mentioned 60 dudes from the 60s all the way till last year. And we got it down to 5 guys each. And
I can't wait.
It's going to be controversial. We're going to get email. How could you say how this guy? Oh man. But you know what? It'll get us some content. We'll get some listeners.
It sounds like great content. Always love stirring the pot. And I don't know how it is with you and how the podcast went, but I can't talk to PC more than 2 minutes without bursting into laughter over something. The guy's he's a great real hype man, first of all, but he's just so entertaining and fun to talk to. So
he personifies.
Your listeners will love to hear from.
Oh yeah, he personifies that. You know, the older we get, the better we work. I mean, he is that guy. And he was telling me stories about, telling me the background of guys. He's the perfect guy to do that with. So I'm going to release that here in a couple of weeks to kick this thing off. Basically, I was going to do the 29th. I think I'm going to do the 22nd now. July 22nd, which is only
mark it down.
Less than 2 weeks. That's when we start going weekly. And that's probably the first episode that will have a ton of controversy and hopefully listeners email in. After that, I'm probably going to do the Ryan McCullough episode on the 29th. When we hit August 5th, I haven't recorded this. This is the one I haven't done yet. But I realized in the car the other day, Mark, 2002, this is the 2022 season. Oh my goodness, my senior year was 20 years ago.
That's why you're bald, dude.
That's why I'm going bald. Yeah, this hair's turning gray on my face. So I want to have a sit down with 4 of my former classmates, Devin Drain, Jordan Ross, Bill Ritter, and Renzo Worrell, and just talk about that 2002 year, winning a championship in 2001, and then being the first class to play a full season of 11-man football in 2002. It's hard to believe it's been 20 years.
You were the trailblazers. You were the pioneers. Had to take it on the chin as far as some of our scheme and stuff went, but hey, you guys did it. Yeah. A few of us were lost along the trail, as the pioneers. But no, it was a great time, and Real Hondo Prep Football has come such a long way. So that one I want to record. After that, I have an episode already recorded with Clark Bollinger and Kyle Horton, the voices of Real Hondo Prep Football. That is going to be really fun for you guys to hear and learn exactly how you can follow the games if you are can't make it and you're out of town. So that's a preview of the episodes here coming up on the Charge to Keep podcast. Those all sound great. It's so fun watching film with Kyle and Clark in the background. It makes it feel like you're watching a regular game, and it's super cool to watch it because they'll be perched right up in the press box area by Mr. Bray, who's filming the 50-yard line camera. And so that makes it really fun. And those guys do a great job. I always love they do research and they'll have stats and to hear their voices on the back end of a call is just really cool. It's not just silence or the crowd noise. You hear someone, like Damien's interception return in the playoff game at Charter Oak last year with Clark going crazy. Yeah. And so it's just really cool.
Well, he had that call and David Stone has landed its mark or whatever on on Goliath. We talk about that in that episode. Yeah. You guys are going to love it. I'm psyched, man. And this is going to be after that, we will then probably August 19th, bring you back and give a preview of the Omani Lions and kind of talk about, the season starting and everything. So that is the tentative schedule for the Charge to Keep podcast. Mark, let's talk about the summer right now. First of all, 4th of July just happened. How was your Independence Day celebration? The middle of the summer celebration that we have every year.
Oh yeah, it was great. We went to the DeWarty fireworks show on the 3rd, which was really good. And then we watched from the roof of our house. it was really cool. The Monrovia fireworks show on the 4th, and you're able to see kind of a lot of vantage point of the San Gabriel Valley and see fireworks shows and just people doing their own shows. We know how it is in the SGV. Fireworks all over the place. So it was fun, and a great time with family and friends. Had over a couple barbecues. It's all good.
I was appalled. I was appalled at all the illegal fireworks going off. We have laws. They must be followed. They was you know what? 1776 there were laws, and they were broken. So I'm fine with it. Anyway,
exactly.
Mark, on that note, I've asked you before, but why is patriotism such a big part of Rio Hondo Prep football? You got the American flag on the helmets. You guys are perfect at attention for the national anthem. Why is patriotism such a big part of the program?
Football is one of the things, one of the few things that sets our country apart from everybody else in the world. No one else in the world plays high school football or football at any level outside of, a semi-pro or adult league in other countries or whatever. No one plays youth football. So it's uniquely American that way. I think it's a great opportunity to instill the love for country with our guys by doing the national anthem, by making that important, putting the flag on our helmet, putting the flag on our workout gear, just to help them, remind them that playing here, playing football is a privilege, and it's a privilege because you live in, kind of tying it in the greatest country on earth, and you guys are the only ones who get to do it. And then of all the kids their age in America, you whittle that down even more, and not because obviously not everyone chooses to play, and then you get to choose to play. You're choosing to play football, and then you get to play at a great school like Rio, and with all the support we have and tradition, and so I just think it's just kind of an opportunity to let them know that they're doing something special and that we live in a great country.
I don't know if there's a way to do this, but I would pretty much guarantee that if you were to ask almost every member of the military, past and present, if they played high school football, I would be shocked if it was below 90%. I bet most of our military played football, other sports too, but played high school football. The challenge, the brotherhood, the toughness, the conditioning, it all kind of fits into what they end up doing.
Yeah, and it's military. You get, I would guess, a lot of the guys who enlist, young guys as well as officers played high school football, and that's another aspect of the patriotism. I think football is more than any other sport. You have those combative elements. And the brotherhood really matters, and so that's another reason that I think patriotism ties in so well. But yeah, whether you go to the military or whatever line of work you do, lessons learned on the gridiron can't be taught any other way, and it's a really cool thing that separates us, our country, from everybody else, I think. And so I want to be proud of that and make sure the guys understand that.
Big time, and there's been a ton of Rio players. I always say football because everyone plays everything, but this is football, and a lot of ex-Rio football players that have gone on great military careers. Bill Lee, who was just on, Maynard Bajorquez, West Point graduate, BJ Jacobs was in the Navy. Was he Navy SEALs? Navy I think.
SEAL, yeah.
Dan Pastor, serving in the military. Dan Baumgartner, excuse me. Sean Piper. I mean, just a ton of guys, even just recently.
All over. Yeah.
So it's really a tribute to them, but also in their time at RHP. So when I see you guys do things right, man, I'm just, again, one of the many reasons I'm proud of the program for you paying attention to those little details.
Hey, we like to say, we like to win the national anthem, as they say. So when we're lined up looking sharp and you look across the way and they're standing haphazardly, maybe not even paying full attention, we know, and they look across and see us, we already know we got them beat, at least psychologically, that way. So
yeah, and it's a moment to just for 2 minutes to kind of forget everything you got to do and just kind of think about something else too.
Show some gratitude, show some respect.
Yeah. Well, Mark, you guys opened the season August 26th against the El Monte Lions. Unfortunately, a couple of weeks ago, there was some news about 2 El Monte police officers who were killed in the line of duty. Again, running into a situation to try to help people, and unfortunately they lost their lives. Would you care to comment on just what that has meant? Did you guys feel, I mean, it didn't happen that far from campus, and you guys are going to be playing Omani week 1 here. I mean, did anybody feel kind of that sadness around the campus, or kind of what are your thoughts on what happened?
Yeah, it kind of hit close to home in that we had, first of all, yeah, you hear some Omani PD. We had one of our graduates, Cody Cal, and I believe his brother Sean now is there working there too on SWAT.
Wow.
And you hear something like that, you're like, and there's death, and they haven't come out with names. All of a sudden, you start wondering. So it didn't hit that close to home as far as an RHP connection, but my wife works at an elementary school in Omani, and her longtime friend, my wife's been there over 20 years, and so is this lady who's been there at the school as well. She's more of an administrator, but it was her son-in-law who was one of the officers killed. And so when you hear that, obviously it makes a tragic situation to anybody, but it brings it hits home. And yeah, as far as playing Omani and being so close, it's I think that the guy who was shot, he was a product of Omani schools, went to a Royal High School in Omani. But yeah, you definitely feel their pain. Not that you can empathize 100%, because it's not your family or anything, but when you know someone that close, and yeah, as far as close to proximity to campus, it's probably less than 5 miles from where we're at. So
Definitely. Yeah, I immediately, when I heard Omani PD, as my first thought, well, Cody Cal works for Omani PD, or did at one point, and yeah, to hear his brothers in there too, I immediately thought of that. That's why I wanted to find out names, and it wasn't them, but Joseph Santana and Michael Paredes, the 2 officers, both of them Omani natives. I have a friend who went to high school with one of the guys, at Arroyo.
Yeah.
So it's a small world, and it makes you just appreciate the littlest of thing. Hey, like you said a few minutes ago, we get the opportunity to go out and play football. This isn't life or death. This is just something we're passionate about. And yeah, for it to happen so close was just a tragedy. So sad to hear that Claudia kind of was connected there in a way, unfortunately.
Yeah. Never like hearing that, but yeah, when it's someone that's going through it, it makes it extra difficult. And thank you to all those law enforcement officers out there who in the line of fire. And none of us really question whether we're going to get home. It doesn't enter our mind when we go to work. Right? But those guys got to deal with that every day. But I tell you, man, if it's a guy like Michael or even Cody Cal, man, you give them a call. Those are the kind of guys you want coming to help. So I've got to appreciate those guys.
Yeah, it's a ton of, again, RHP graduates, a ton of them go into law enforcement. So that's a big reason I'm such a big advocate for them. But anyway, just a tough thing to talk about, but I thought we'd mention it here. Mark, how was the passing league games? You had a few games in June. I saw a little footage, you can't learn much from t-shirts and shorts, but what were the games like for you?
Yeah, it's good work for our skill guys on offense and our DBs really on defense. We don't put as much stock into it as other programs do, because we're going to run the ball 80% of the time. But it's good practice. So yeah, we had 5 different 7-on-7s, and the cool thing was seeing the progression. Our first one was 2 days after we got out of school, had really no practice, and we were horrible, as you might expect. And the last one we did on Wednesday, we looked a lot better on both sides of the ball. And so it's fun to see the progression. But yeah, we don't get too excited either way, because it's not football.
No, and because my favorite pass defense, Mark, is tackling the quarterback. Like, I think that's if you don't let him throw the ball, then they can't catch it and run far. So that's the best defense against a passing offense. But when you can't blitz and have a great pass rush in these pass tournaments, you can't really learn a whole lot there.
Yeah, and we'll be sitting back there patting the ball 4 seconds, 5 seconds. I'm like, you're not gonna be able to block 42 that long. I'm sorry. It's
Yeah, exactly. They used to have a whistle like at 4 seconds or whatever, but some of the whatever.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, everyone, it's cool. We usually we try to get it with teams that are kind of like-minded, where it's just, a chance to get reps and get better. So everyone we participate in those with it.
My dad one time, who's, biggest football fan out there, he was always making fun of soccer, and he's just like, it's soccer, it's track with a ball,
Yeah.
and then he'll see like flag football, and he's like, that's not football. It's kind of passing leagues kind of that way. Who did you guys end up playing for those couple of games?
So La Cañada twice, Bosco twice, and Baldwin Park. So just 5.
Wow.
Just 5, that's it.
Okay, very cool. Well, and you guys are done with all that, right? You're on your break, and then you'll get practices going in August, right?
Yeah, we have a week longer of practice, and then we have our break. Yeah.
Now, since you guys cannot play in pads, right? Practice.
No. You're allowed to.
So what do you pretty much focus on? You still run plays and everything, but it's got to be like half speed without gear on. What is kind of the emphasis and the focus before you put pads on?
Yeah, well, right now it's been a lot of the 7-on-7 stuff, so our passing game. Now we're going to start switching gears to our run game, which is the base of all we do offensively, and then defensively, same thing. We're mirroring what they're doing. So we do some skill work, right? Tackling our tackle wheels or against pads or whatever, and then doing position drills. But scheme-wise, it's all been pass defense and pass offense. So now it kind of switches over to, and we have kind of ways we do it with pads and stuff, where installing our run game, and which is our cornerstone of what we do, and then defending the run too. Getting your gap fits right and alignments and so forth like that.
And a lot of the boring drills that that seem they're not that important, but the TOC, the turnover circuit, scoop and score, catching the ball at the highest point, all that kind of stuff, right? The detail type stuff is what you're doing in the summer.
Right, and kind of preview the drills, and so when we come back in August, we don't have to re-explain it. We just hop right into it and go, and yeah.
So let me ask you. You guys haven't had a summer trip in a while, but now that you've been the head coach, has there been a challenge really, or even when you were an assistant, was it harder during summer trip years when, say you'd be in Europe somewhere? I mean, could you practice on the summer trip, or was it harder when you didn't have a summer trip versus when you do have a summer trip?
Yeah, there's benefits, right? The team building and bonding on the trips is great, but football is very hard to get anything really practical done. So we were grateful, especially with a young group like we have this year, to have the time with them on campus, on the field, getting installing football stuff. It would have been very difficult to show up with after a trip and try to wrangle this group of youngsters to get them ready. So we're glad it worked out that way. Yeah.
Sure. No, it's interesting. Back in the day, we got off the plane in Europe, and it was like, all right, we'll see you in a week or so for football, and it's like, you did push-ups, you ran a little bit here and there, but that was it. Now the summer, when you're back, it's like, let's lift some weights, let's run some routes, right?
Yeah. And so, and this has been our second summer with our new weight room. And so it's been awesome. And we can work out 24 guys in an hour. And so we do one workout session before, one workout session after practice. Everyone gets a lift in 4 days a week. And it's got to be organized still, because the weight room's not 10,000 square feet, but if we're organized and we're working, then they're getting great work in, and we also have open weight room times. If guys don't, we don't hit something they want to hit, they can come back and do that. So that's been huge. And
I'm gonna try to get down to a summer workout or a practice too here in August when things get rolling, to report back to the fans. They gotta get a little insight behind the scenes, if you will, and. Hey, you're coming out on a Wednesday night. Even hey, the Cares did not look sharp today. Ball was on the ground all practice. We got to. It's all about the access to the program right now.
You have full access, man. You have full access.
You know what I was doing? I looked on there. I was like, okay, not just because I like things to look official, and I know you give me full access, but I was looking for like, okay, how can I make like a press pass type thing? And so I was looking at, online. It's amazing. You go down a rabbit hole real quick. All of a sudden, it was taking me towards like, oh, you can make fake IDs here, and I'm like, hey, no, that's not what I want to do. Anyway,
man, we're gonna see you on the sideline at SoFi pretty soon for a Rams game with your fake press pass. That Matt, how do you get on there? I'm an official media member. Yeah,
That's
I run
right.
my own
See
podcast.
this?
Yeah.
Press pass. You haven't heard of the Charge to Keep? Oh, you got to subscribe.
Yeah.
Mark, some breaking news. It happened a while ago, but I reached out to Coach Chris Smoke of Pasadena Poly to see if he wanted to come back on the podcast, talk Rio and Poly. And he's like, hey, I'm really sorry, but I've moved to Tennessee, taking a coaching job there. So he was a fan favorite, even a Rio fan favorite last year of his podcast, his praise for the program. He's moved on, and Poly has a new coach, for those that don't know.
Yeah, great guy, man. We're gonna miss Chris. Made the rivalry even more fun, just because he is such a good coach and but a good guy too. So he's someone that you had to like, even though you wanted to beat the tar out of him, right? So we're gonna miss that, and pretty much. And he took, as far as I know, a couple of the assistants who have been there a while are gone too. And so it's sad to see that this era of the Poly Rio rivalry come to an end. But it sounds like he's got a great gig in Tennessee, small town outside of private school outside of Nashville, and sounds like it fits him more. He's a music dude and fits his values kind of really well. And so I'm happy for him, and I think he's going to do really well there.
Yeah, definitely.
I told him we ever bring a summer trip by, we got to meet up and throw or whatever. And he's like, oh yeah, we'll make that happen. So maybe next year.
Fantastic. Oh man. Yeah. I had no idea when I interviewed him last year what it would be like, but he was so gracious, has such high praise for Rio. His kids went to care. I mean, and then when he ended the conversation, hey, I hope Rio goes 9-1 every year. I was like, you're the classiest dude I've ever hated. Yeah. Like, no, I don't hate it, but anyway. Yeah. Yeah. So what do we know about the new Poly coach? The new Poly, is it someone from within?
Yeah, he's been with their program. So we expect a lot of the same as far as their scheme goes. And I'm sure he's going to do a great job. My daughter was actually at a soccer camp over the summer over there, and I bumped into him and we talked a little bit. So it'll be good. It'll be good. Nice.
Well, that game is a few weeks into the season, which will be a rivalry week for sure. We'll do something special for that. That is a road game this year, right?
Yeah, September 16th. It's going to be a night game at South Pass, actually. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Under the lights. Okay. Yeah. I love it. I dig it. Beautiful. As football is supposed to be.
Yeah. Which is interesting just in the fact that Smoke, when he was coaching, he said, because they get South Pass every year for one game. And he said, we'll never play Rio at South Pass because we want to get them out of their element. And so we always play night games. So we're always playing Rio Friday at 2 at Poly. So you already know the coach, the regime has already changed. And
okay. Look, hey, nothing wrong with gamesmanship. Come on. You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
I never minded those 2 o'clock Poly games. Go over there, take care of business, hit Old Town Pasadena for dinner. We always worked out real well.
Yeah. So, yeah. It was nice. Hey, Chris Smoke, he had
usually after a W. So
usually after a W. That's right. And Chris Smoke, hey, give him credit. He had a nice win streak over Rio Hondo Prep for a while, and then the tables turned, and then you're on a good one now. So hey, the rivalry is alive and well.
Yes, sir.
We wish Coach Smoke nothing but the best. Mark, let's talk about your schedule. That's always fun to kind of break down. First off, you open with the Omani Lions on August 26th at home. Omani has at least one game before that. Looks like on the 19th, they're playing at Pomona High School. So I don't know. I may head over there and check out the Lions, but there's been some coaches changes for the Omani Lions, right?
Yeah. So their whole staff moved over to Sierra Vista High School. And the new staff is, I think by and large, came from Sure High School. So you're going from at least offensively, a double wing team to a spread. And so kind of night and day as far as what they're going to present. But tough, hard-nosed kids, Omani, and I think it'll be a good game. And hopefully a rivalry game we can kind of keep for a few years here.
Has this game, have there been efforts to put this game on the Rio schedule for quite some time?
We had reached out, I think before, but just couldn't make it happen. They have this opening, we have this opening. So you gotta have the same, everyone will say, oh, we want to play so-and-so. Well, it's got to line up where you have an opening and they have an opening on the same week. So,
Sure.
yeah, I don't think we had tried though too hard, but maybe reached out once before and this time it worked out.
Yeah. Well, you played Arroyo, you've played Arcadia, you played Charter Oak in the playoffs. I mean, Omani has had great success the past few years. So this is a great game. I think it's a great game to play in week 1 for you guys, your first opponent. Because I think even though it's spread, I think Omani's gonna be a little physical. They always have, even though they got a different offense now. But I think it's gonna be a physical football game. Yeah,
that's what we're expecting too, and like it'll be fun. I think it'll be. Everyone will be excited. They'll bring a good crowd, hopefully, and that should be fun.
We will definitely preview that game on the 19th for our final episode before the season starts. You guys are not playing what's called week 0 when there's 11 weeks in the season, 1 through 10, plus the week 0, August 19th. Why not play that week? Did you just feel you kind of need more practices to start your season on the 26th?
Yeah, like I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, we have about 10 upperclassmen. And so we just think it's kind of a 9-game schedule works better for us this year. And we have our break in week 7 with science camp already. And so we got to make it through the season. And so just being smart about how we schedule. When we have the horses, we'll schedule 10 and schedule accordingly. But that was the main reason.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. And to have that bye in the middle of the season too is important. And a lot of schools run into that week 0 game and it's like, okay, back to the drawing board. So season opening on the 26th, it's plus you get a little more preparation, more practice. That's good. On September 2nd, you guys host the Linfield Christian back-to-back Lions to start the season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Lions.
2 home games, 2 Lion opponents. Of course, Linfield Christian well. So back-to-back home games to start the year against. You guys beat them up pretty good last year, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. They were young, so Coach Burns, I think we'll have them chomping at the bit to get after us this year. Kind of the tables have turned. They're going to have the veteran team, and we're going to be the young team. So it'll be a good challenge, and always well coached, physical football. They're going to want to run the ball. And so that'll be a fun game to see them again.
Yeah. Well, 2 home games to start the year. And I think, you probably, fingers crossed, knock on wood, hopefully you won't have the cancellation that you had last year. I'm hoping that stuff is behind us.
We think it's all behind us, at least in the football community. I think it is. Who knows about the general public, but I think football coaches have all moved on.
Yeah, for sure.
You go to 7-on-7s and all that. There's no one's in a mask, no one's distancing, no one's, it's none of that nonsense. So.
Well, if I'm looking at the schedule correctly, just so fans are aware, there's only 4 Rio home games of the 9, and 2 of them are right off the bat, week 1 and 2. So if you want to get out to Rio games, you better get out there quick because after week 2, there's only 2 home games left in of the remaining 8 weeks, of course, with a bye in there.
Yeah, no time to really settle in and wait for a home game. So that was partly in place of a school who I won't mention who owed us a home game and dropped out. And so to replace them, we could only get a road game. A local school who I won't mention who we played last year, but so we were hoping to have 5 and 4, but when this school dropped us, we had to find someone, and the only game we could get is on the road. Yeah. So you missed those first 2. I doubt you're going to want to head out to Boron for the game 3. So
game 3, Boron. That trip you make every other year, Mark. It's good preparation for maybe a possible playoff long trip. I mean, you guys have been playing the Boron Bobcats for so many years now.
Yeah, nothing but respect for them. They have a great tradition. Think of RHP setup in that very small school, but it's their number 1 program at their school, and very remote, probably one of the most remote towns in our whole state. just built around the mining town there. And you can imagine the kind of kids they get, kids whose parents are miners, or there's a military base nearby. And so you can imagine what kind of kids you're playing against out there. They're going to be hard-nosed, tough kids. And so we always like it. And we just like that they'll play us. Good years, bad years, they'll play us. And so we want to honor that. And so that's why we're playing them.
No, for sure. Yeah, you got to honor that. It's been a nice little friendly rivalry. That's it's nice to do a road trip, at least one big one a year.
And get a long road trip out of the way. And it's not a vacation destination like some parents might like, but it's good. And like you said, it's good rehearsal for if you got to take a road trip in the playoffs, a longer trip. You have that kind of experience under your belt.
Yeah, after that long trip, you got so 3 away games, road games in a row after the 2 games at home, at Boron, at Pauley. We just mentioned the 16th. So it'll be a Friday night at South Pass, right? Not a Saturday night or something.
Correct.
Okay.
Friday night.
Cool. So 4th game of the season. If you got to get to an away game, that's definitely the one to get to at South Pasadena High School, Pasadena Pauley. Then you guys have a quick turnaround. You play at Savannah High School in Anaheim on a Thursday for your 3rd road game in a row. Yeah.
They have a kind of a district field set up, and so they rotate Thursday night, Friday night for their home field. I think they have 3 schools that share the same facility. So Thursday night at Savannah High School.
Very cool. You come back to home for a home game the last day in September, hosting Glendale. That's a pretty big school enrollment, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, big school, and they're kind of up and coming program. So we'll see. I think that's going to be our homecoming game as well. Got to solidify that with the care girls program, because they kind of pick the date they want. But I'm pretty sure that's the date we're going to settle on, is that September 30th game with Glendale.
Homecoming in September, kind of odd, but hey, it also makes sense. Yeah, Glendale. I love their stadium, man. Loyola High School plays there. I've been to a few games there. That's
we've played there before. Other schools, not them. And yeah, great setup. And so hopefully, if they keep us on, we'll be happy to travel out there next year.
Well, it's nice having schools semi-close. Rio Hondo used to travel in 2 hours to go play a game. It's nice when these schools in the area are like, yeah, we'll play you, because then you're saving some gas money.
And you're getting the JV game in, so you can get the JV game in, which is always on a different day now. No one plays JV on the same day anymore. So to really make that happen, you got to place people close. So I think our schedule is only going to shrink as far as the geographic radius of who we play, because everyone's playing JV or Frosh, whatever, on different days. So it's just how it is now.
Oh, come on, man. We can't go to Avalon or Templeton anymore. Like,
yeah. Well, so like the Boron game, they don't have a JV. So that's why that kind of works. And we're playing, I think JVs are playing Ontario Christian that week. So that kind of works, but yeah.
Got to get Ontario Christian on the schedule. I've been saying it for years. I mean, I don't understand why maybe they don't want to play. I don't know what the deal is. I thought that would be a very good.
They're only getting better, I think. So it'll be good.
Old school, back from the 60s, right? Or whatever, the 70s.
The old, Academy League or whatever it was.
Okay, so Glendale, September 30th. Then you get a nice bye, strategically placed before the 3 league games. I think that's pretty wise there, Mark. Although the boys are going to science camp. Maybe to condition in that mountain air, we'll say. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of rest up, heal up, but they'll do some conditioning and our freshmen go to Arizona that week. But I'll be up probably with the upperclassmen, and we'll be training a little bit to stay in shape. Really just gives your chance, your body a chance to heal too. And
I think a bye is good. I think a bye in the middle of the season like that's really good. So then we got 3 games left, and there's no real nowhere cupcakes here. You guys go to Viewpoint, which is in Calabasas. Not an easy trip, especially on a Friday, afternoon. You got to get all the way up there. So tough travel. Tough travel.
Yeah, tough travel. And Viewpoint was down last year. We think they'll be better. And the actual location of that game is TBA, because they don't play at their school. And so we'll make sure that gets posted on Max Preps and our website as soon as that's up.
Definitely.
Then we host Brentwood. who's got a great young quarterback. He was good last year, sophomore, junior this year. And between them and then Campbell Hall the next week, we got to finish 1 or 2 to get in the playoffs, which is better than last year. Last year we had to finish number 1 in that group. So to guarantee a playoff spot. This year, the top 2 will get in, guaranteed.
Oh, really? Okay. What happened there? Is that just a bigger league or something?
So Gold Coast used to include Sierra Canyon and Paraclete, and then the other 4 teams, or the other 3 plus us, made 4, battled out for the 3rd spot. Sierra Canyon and Paraclete left, and so now it's only 4 of us who make up the league. And if you have a 4-team league, the top 2 get in.
Oh, okay. So it's not all in. Okay, that's interesting. Little better scenario. I mean, basically, you got to win 2 out of 3 games. There could be scenarios that it's, and then Campbell Hall being the last game of the year, that could be for all the marbles.
That'll be fun. And from what we've heard, they loaded up on transfers, so they're going to be good again. Really good. So
Shocking. Where's that game going to be played? Do you know?
That's at their home. That they play on campus.
Oh, they do. Is no longer Birmingham High School?
No, and they put bleachers. Everyone sits on the same side of the field. I think there's a gap between the home and visitors. I went there to scout last year. It's actually a pretty cool setup. It's kind of like Care Park where there's no track around it. You're right on top of the field.
Nice.
They have lights. You're playing at night. It's artificial surface. But yeah, right there, right off the whatever that is, the 134. Real easy to get to, and a good setup. So I think hopefully it's for all the marbles. Yeah, we'll see.
Beautiful campus. And I got to say, man, those 3 teams, 2 of them you're traveling to, Viewpoint in Calabasas, Brentwood in Brentwood, and then Campbell Hall in Van Nuys or whatever, but North Hollywood, yeah. Beautiful campus. Beautiful. I mean, those are some expensive schools.
You charge 40 plus K a year tuition. You better have a beautiful campus.
Not quite what the Rio Hondo tuition is. Not even kind of close, which separates Rio. No, for sure. And the Rio experience I would put up against any of those. Well, that is your schedule for the 2022 season.
Our campus, if you haven't been down lately, is just been totally revamped. If you haven't been down there, you got to check it out. And finishing touches are going on as we speak, and it'll be ready to go for school in August. So.
Yeah, I will definitely.
On campus, you got to check it out.
I'll head down there sometime real soon. I want to, and I'll do some videos and little clips for the fans out there. But no Care Youth League at Rio anymore. It's all at Irwindale. So it's just Rio. And so when you're practicing and working out, there's nothing else really going on. So parking should be fine if some fans want to come out and watch some practices even.
Come out to practice anytime. Yeah.
Sounds great. Well, Mark, thanks for doing this, the preview of the 2022 schedule and kind of some updates on the Charge to Keep podcast with our schedule, which starts weekly, July 22nd, almost 1 month from the opening kickoff, Mark.
Yeah.
So this way I won't have to bother you all the month of August, just grab you in like August 19th and we'll do another episode previewing the Lions and the upcoming season.
Hey, yeah, Matt, I know you mentioned you might want to talk some personnel. Did you want to talk any personnel before we got off, or you going to save that?
Sure. Do you have time? I don't want to burn your time.
Yeah,
You're chasing around
we can't
kids.
Go through everybody, but just building off our summer.
Real quick on that note. So I looked on there. I was talking about the roster and for an updated roster on maxpreps.com, the Rio Hondo page or whatever. And we will have an updated roster after some event next week, right?
Yeah, well, we're passing out uniforms and everything next week. So by the end of the week, rather than go in there and going back and forth, changing numbers, we just wait till everyone has the numbers and we got the heights and weights and know who's on varsity. Yeah, so by the end of the week, we'll have an updated roster on there.
Gotcha. So talk to us about some of the personnel. Like you said, a young group, right?
Yeah, young group, but obviously you guys have heard about Ryan, but a few other seniors, Anthony Hernandez, Zane Fruitwalla, Cody Nelson, have really stepped up and shown great leadership out on the field and in the weight room all summer. So I wanted to recognize those guys. Our QB, you guys are going to love watching our QB. a junior, Armando Carvajal, who like a QB back in the early 2000s, not the tallest guy on the field, but smart football player. And unlike that said QB in the early 2000s, he has some wheels. And so he can throw, and he's going to be a threat outside the pocket. And so he's going to be really fun to watch. And him connecting with one of our young receivers, a sophomore, Nate Curtis, they worked really well this summer together. And defensively, we're still putting the pieces together, but we think we're going to be really good on defense. I would say LB is probably our weakest position group right now, but hopefully by the time we get through August practices, they'll be good. And that LB D-line group, Ryan McCullough, Colby Johnson, Josh Tafflinger, Anthony Hernandez, who I mentioned, Aaron Size, who started two non-seniors who started last year. At outside linebacker, he's back. Our secondary is going to be almost all new. We might even have two freshman corners, Calogero Chico, brother of 2000, whatever that was, 4 graduate. 8. When was Doe? Domenico was like 2015. Yeah, his brother, younger brother Calogero is might end up starting at one of our corners. Along with Yannick Diaz, another name Rio fans might recognize. His older brother Damien was a quarterback last year. They might be our starting corners, 2 freshmen. So that's going to be exciting. And I'm sure I'm leaving someone out, but I just want the fan base, the Rio family, to know that it's going to be an exciting young group. We lost a lot, and the guys that graduated were awesome football players. But come out and see these guys grow right before your eyes, and you'll see them get better from the start of the game to the end of the game even. And it's going to be fun to watch. And you get to see one of the best players in the San Gabriel Valley, and Ryan McCullough, step on the field. So that's going to be worth your price of admission, which probably is going to go up. We're going to switch our ticketing over to paperless and get an app signed up. And so just so fans are ready.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably we'll make that announcement. But tickets are probably going to go up to $10, and it's going to be the through an app. So you just show up and show your tickets. We want to make sure our fans are all ready for that too.
Absolutely. No, that's good information to know. And, 2 things from your comments there. First of all, when I talked to Ryan McCullough, he had some very high praise for Mr. Nate Curtis in the weight room. He said he's pushing some weight around that even Ryan wasn't doing at his age. So is he being, 100% accurate there? Is Nate Curtis?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, Nate's one of several guys, same thing, who are, very impressive in there. And so
nice.
It's funny. I don't know if it's because of the air conditioning or what, but guys just never want to leave the weight room. When it's 98 degrees outside and 65 in the weight room, maybe that's why they want to stay. But I think it's kind of the culture is just kind of evolving into this thing that, man, that's where you're at. If you're on campus and you're not doing something immediately, you're in the weight room, and the team room's right next to it, so they can be next door, chilling and getting a protein shake or watching TV or whatever, or and then go lift. And so it's created a really cool vibe for the guys. And but Great. It's probably the 65-degree air conditioning that is the main reason.
Keep it cool in there. Keep it cool as we get the work done. And your comment on that quarterback in the early 2000s. I want to say, as far as accuracy goes, one of the most accurate handoff guys in the history of the program. Not a better backwards pitch in the history of the program in RHP. Yeah. I firm believer on that.
And your play actions and your fakes and your Hey, you threw a good deep ball though.
Yeah, I kind of give you guys a misconception of, hey, we can just throw deep every now and then and be all right. Yeah, no. You need an actual pocket and play action and actual passing calls. Yeah. 20 years ago. What a nightmare.
Trailblazers.
Try baptism by fire, like your freshmen are going to have to be this year. Yeah. Mark, I cannot stop talking RHP football with you. I could do it year round for hours, but I'll let you get back to it. I'm excited. July 22nd, weekly episodes. We're going to air them on Friday nights. And then once the season starts, we'll do our little game recaps, probably Sundays, and just release them those days. So that's what's in store for the Charge to Keep podcast.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you.
All right, Mark, we'll talk soon. Good luck. Enjoy the rest of the summer. And man, get those boys ready.
Yes, sir.
Well, I say it every episode, but I'm ready to kick this thing off. Let's go, Hondo. Hope you guys are ready for some real Hondo prep football starting August 26th in Irwindale at Care Park. Now, only 2 home games to start the year and then 2 more home games throughout the season. So there's only 4 home games. So make sure if you're going to get out to a game, you do it early and often. Tickets are up a little bit, $10. That's not that bad. As far as everything else goes, price wise, that's not that bad of an increase. So it's $10 and it's going to a good cause, supporting the Real Hondo Prep football program. But as a reminder for the content here on the Charge to Keep podcast, starting July 22nd, we will have episodes every single Friday as we lead up to the opening kickoff on August 26th. So as a preview, here's what you have to look forward to. July 22nd, we will have episode out with Paul Clark talking he and I talking about the best players in RHP history, at least on the defensive side of the ball and on as running backs. So we break that down for you, a good 90-minute conversation there. July 29th, a conversation with Ryan McCullough, the senior phenom for Real Hondo Prep that has some decisions to make here where he will be playing college ball in the future, but a fun conversation there. Hopefully on August 5th, if I can put it together, I want to talk with the class of 2003, 4 of my former teammates who 20 years ago in 2002 kicked off the first season of 11-man football in Real Hondo Prep history, 1 year after winning the school's final 8-man football championship. So we'll go back in time and talk with those old guys. Oh, I guess I'm an old guy too, because I'm one of them. So it'll be 5 friends reminiscing about the good old days, the first season of Real Hondo Prep 11-man football back in 2002. And on August 12th, we'll have an episode out with Clark Bollinger and Kyle Horton, the broadcast team for Real Hondo Prep football. They will tell you all the ways that you can hear and watch the games on Friday nights with some new information that fans will need. Most games will be broadcast on the NFHS network, and you will hear all about that on that episode, and they'll tell you how you can hear more of their content and stuff as well. So a fun conversation with the broadcast team that will air on August 12th. And then on August 19th, I'm going to have head coach Mark Carson back on the program to preview the upcoming season, talk about the Omani Lions for the game the following Friday, maybe another update on how the program is doing, how August practices have gone, what it's been like throwing the pads on, if just any updated information there, the final episode before the season starts. And then on August 26th, once the season gets rolling, we will not have Friday episodes any longer because we have games that we'll be watching. And so what we will do is I will be at games most of the time, having a pregame, a post-game video clip, maybe a halftime clip, an interview with Coach Carson at halftime if he's up for it, definitely after the game. And then, of course, the Sundays, we'll put out our Charge to Keep podcast episodes as I talk to Coach Carson, recapping the game from Friday night and previewing the next opponent. So that is the schedule for now. I hope you guys are as excited as I am to put out this content. And as a reminder, if you have not done so already, go into Facebook, look up A Charge to Keep, the official podcast of Real Hondo Prep Football. Give us a like, give us a follow. Instagram, same thing, Charge to Keep podcast. Twitter, Charge to Keep. You can't not find us if you look for us. It should be easy to do so. And if you need help, reach out to me. Also, questions, topics, suggestions, criticism, whatever, charge2keeppod@gmail.com. That's charge2keeppod@gmail.com. No A, just charge2keeppod@gmail.com. Guys, I am officially ready for the season. We are over a month and a half away. It's the middle of the summer, but it is what it is. We just keep counting down the days till that opening kickoff. I hope you guys will be with me all season, and I'm sure you guys will really like the July 22nd episode that I will release with Paul Clark, RHP football historian and expert, about some of the greatest players in RHP history. You don't want to miss that. I'm sure we'll get plenty of comments and maybe some controversial takes on that episode. Guys, this is going to be fun. I'm excited. This is like the beginning of ESPN for me, like starting my own podcast of Real Hondo football specifically. We're going to take a deep dive all season, before the season, in the season, maybe even a little after the season. But it's going to be an exciting couple of months. I hope you'll be with me every step of the way. For those of you that are Get Home Safe podcast fans, I'm still going to do that podcast probably on Tuesdays. Just me. I will be eliminating the Friday long form conversations for now while I put my heart and soul into the Charge to Keep podcast. So there will be Get Home Safe podcast through for a few more weeks here through the end of July, I think. But then right around that same time, July 22nd, the Charge to Keep podcast will take off weekly, and the Get Home Safe podcast will not come to an end, but take a little break, and we'll just have me on Tuesdays rambling about my non-Real Hondo Prep topics, my opinions on other things and such. So a couple of different podcast options for you. If you're a Real Hondo Prep fan, you don't want to miss this podcast, A Charge to Keep, because it's everything Real Hondo Prep football. And even though we're still a month and a half away from actual games, why not talk about it? Let's dig deep and talk about the history and the future of RHP football. Cannot wait. That's enough for me, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Coach Carson, thank you very much for more insight and your thoughts on not just the summer, but the direction of the program, the schedule, the teams. I mean, the fan base is hungry and ready for another fun-filled season. And with you at the helm, good sir, they are in very good hands. And when I got to criticize you, I definitely will, but I haven't had to very many times here the past few years. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your week. We'll be back July 22nd. You don't want to miss it. Mark your calendars. Friday Night Lights starts early with the Charge to Keep podcast, Friday nights, for your official podcast of Real Hondo Prep Football. Guys, this is your friendly reminder to always be humble in victory and gracious in defeat, because we always have a charge to keep.
A charge to keep I have, a God to glorify, a never-dying soul to save, and fit it for the sky. Arm me with jealous care, as in thy sight to live, and O thy servant, Lord, prepare a strict account to give.